I come this way before, travel through the open door. Circumstances navigated the path, and life happened all so fast. No, it got lonely. Sometimes you see, I know we couldn't make it. Even when I'm off beat, I still land on my feet, and nothing can shake me, cause I know life took a hold. I never. This is where I am destined to be. I'm not ready to give up. I believe in the miracle of life. Life's a play for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games can play, can't take it personal, cause the devil is a liar. I'm telling you the truth. It's all in what you do. Some things you gotta do. Fight for millions. Take a second, see the blessing in it. With much expected, much is given. When I made the living, now I'm giving back to children. Never let the power come first before your happiness. Yes, you can be the best if you go the distance. Mix a little sweat with your persistence. You know that the best things are never instant. Just shine up, let them see your brilliance. Get up, open up your eyes now. It's the moment of truth. No backing down. We're bringing it tonight. For the children, it's a given. You gotta give it, be a blessing.
This my personal statement. Run the game like I'm aces. Learn to develop patience, determined to be the greatest. Yeah, bobbing and weaving, they changing up like the seasons. Indigenous to the grind, so I do it for all my people. Jabbing the competition, back up against the ropes. You fighting for recognition, I'm fighting just to promote equality where we lacking. While cancer slowing our road, I'm confident we'll make it. We focus on common goals. Yeah,
give back, give love, giving something away. Never give up, stand tall to fight another day. 2 toes, 2 feet, I stand on the ground. I'm gonna wrestle and fight this final round. Life's a play for no rehearsal. Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games to play, can't take it personal, cause the devil is a liar. Telling you the truth, it's all in what you do. Some things you gotta do. I'm gonna share all that I have and get to those in me. So we're gonna win this battle, fight that disease. No more kids, children leaving hearts. That's young. We got to be the
Hey, what up, y'all? What it do? What it do? Phil, Rob, Donald, DB, Mark Wunderlich, DB, Rob, Lewis. DB like he treat me like he treat his women. Say my name. What up, Triple OG, Phil, Zelle, TB. Well, we got a new TB. What up? Salute in the chat. What it do, big homie, Mr. J Dub, Dream Cooking, Bumpy Johnson. I appreciate everybody coming in here, man. So we got a pretty awesome interview coming up right now. I'm definitely excited to have her. And it's just gonna be a hell of a show, man. And so fasten your seatbelts. And let me tell you guys why I do this. And the reason why I wanted to bring Miss Ambrea on is because the same way we played all those Tupac songs yesterday and all those Tupac interviews and quotes and all that, 30 years or 20 years, 30 years after his death, or somewhere in there, 25 years, somewhere in there. That's the same way they gonna do all these murders and assassinations by police officers. And I think it's just important that we're able to tell our stories. So that's why I reached out to Ambrea, and she was gracious enough to come on. So she'll be coming in at about 9:10. So I'm forever grateful, because that means it's 12:10 her time. She's out of Toledo, Ohio. So I think it's just important that we tell our story. So yeah, we'll open up the phone lines a little later in the show, and you guys can. She said she'll be willing to ask questions and all that, and so it could get heavy in here tonight. So, but welcome to the show, man. And she had a great relationship with Rayshard, and so that's what it is, man. And this is one of the biggest reasons why I started this platform, and thank God that you all have supported it, and it's doing exceptionally well, is because to tell our stories from our perspective, and hopefully some unborn movie maker or producer, executive producer, is going to produce 2020. This is going to be a hell of a film. And you know how they did like 1984, 1968. The movies on World War I, the movies on World War II, Vietnam War. You know how many movies is going to be done on 2020, dog? Man, you know how many movies are going to be on 2020, and documentaries and short films and all that stuff, man. This is insane. So here we have it, man. So welcome. For those of you who don't know, who haven't heard, they've charged the police officer with 11 counts or 12. I saw two. I saw two articles. One said 11, the other said 12. So we'll go at 11 and a half, 11 and a half counts of, and he could be facing the death penalty. And I think this is exceptional. I want to turn the switch on. You know what I mean? Like, and for the first time I've ever seen in my life, because keep in mind, I'm from the Rodney King beating. That's the first one I can remember. You know what I mean? I remember the young man being sodomized in New York. I remember Yusef Hawkins, but I'm talking about where I can comprehend it. I think Rodney King was the first one where I can comprehend it. And I've never known a police officer to turn on the state, you know what I mean, to turn on his team. So it's and Atlanta PD got some mutiny going on as well right now. So you know what I mean? So it's important. Yeah, we will look back and say you was a part, and y'all are literally a part of it. We're in this shit. We're in the trenches every night. You know what I mean? And in 20 years, y'all gonna be replaying these with your kids in 20 years. I guarantee you. Hey, Google barbershop conversations. Remember I spoke to Deontay Wilder on the phone? Remember I spoke to Deontay? I asked that the other night. Yeah, TB. Yeah, man. It's just yeah, man. Man, what a time. What Drake say, what a time to be alive for me and yours. You know what I mean? So we off and running, and yeah, we got a good show tonight, man, and very successful. I'm gonna need help on pronouncing her last name. That's why I've been afraid to say it. so I got some work to do tonight. So that's why I've been calling her Mrs. Ambrea, excuse me. And so we gonna rock and roll. What up, Reggie Owens? We gonna rock and roll, man. You know what I mean? Tomorrow is a great debate. You know what I mean? It was a whole lot of there's a whole lot of shit going on, man. Both of them playing like possum and shit. You know what I mean? Both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, man. Who can fool who the best? You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of that shit going on. Oh man. Yeah, you too? Man. Man. And you know what I was thinking too? The trauma, the amount of trauma. I encourage everybody, man, especially if you're, you know what I mean, frontlining it, or I mean, to all of you, you know what I mean? Uh take some mental health breaks. You know what I mean? Take some mental health breaks at some point, whether it's 5 minutes a day or whether you actually hire somebody. But I think it's just important, because I find myself throughout the day getting kind of wound up from, like, you know how you by yourself and shit, and then you get all these alerts on your phone, and uh yeah, right. And you know, yeah, all these alerts and stuff. It's taxing on you. All right. Uh, you know what I mean? It's taxing on your spirit too. What's up, Jeff? It's taxing on your spirit. So um yeah. There you go. Good luck. Good luck with the names. Miko Jek. Miko Jek. She'll help me when she come in. So yeah, man, it's just gonna be a great show, man. And we gonna comfort her, and we gonna be great men in here tonight. That's exactly what we gonna be. You know what I mean? What we have been for the past 90 days in this quarantine, yo. Yeah, man. It's been a hell of a ride. So July 1st, I get my Fridays and Saturdays back, man. So we got 2 more weeks left, man. 2 more weeks. And then we'll go back to our regular schedule. So July. And it's looking like July 26th. I forgot to call the barbershop yesterday. I was supposed to go by there yesterday. Today, excuse me, and I completely forgot. I whiffed on it. You know what I mean? I simply forgot. And I had time to do it today too. I had some windows. So, but I'll have that confirmed next week. And we're gonna turn that into a big event. So it's gonna be exciting. I reached out to some of my celebrity friends, and they're gonna reach out and help. And we're gonna have entertainment and all that shit, backpacks and haircuts and all that cool stuff for the kids. And just a community event where we can look each other in the eye and just say I love you and thank you, and meet new friends and stuff like that. You know, dance. How about that? How cool would that be to dance? You know what I mean? What's up, all around strong? What challenge you on now? You know, so yeah, man, it's gonna be cool. So expect that to come real soon. And that's what it is. Yeah, for sure. I think we're moving in the right direction, man. You know what else I was thinking too? Shit. Honestly, I was gonna start putting my boxing budget into marketing, because I'm not gonna be going to fights until sometime next year. The only fight I'm gonna go to is Deontay Wilder, and outside of that, I can't see myself traveling for a fight until like January, February. So what I was thinking about doing is just putting some marketing plans together and just doing some marketing and stuff to make the channel bigger and stronger and a broader audience. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at with that. Um, and so that's where we're at. So let's get it. So where we at with Donald Trump and shit? Donald Trump signed that signed that deal. The only thing I'll take from that, honestly, is the database. You know what I mean? The database. I think that's pretty cool. The database. But when he said chokehold, a policeman can't use a chokehold, not unless they feel like their life is in danger. That's so subjective. That's just like saying, What is that in an open cup? I smell marijuana. I smell alcohol. I told you, they always gonna find loopholes in this shit. That's why we just gotta upset it. And with the Atlanta PD going strong right now, this is just an indicator of whose side they're on. Remember, they're they're police officers who are supposed to be community officers. So, with that being said, they're telling you whose side of the street that they're on. And I hope we get that through and through. You understand what I'm saying? So so I would say to all y'all, man, get home, man. You know what I mean? Get home, man. Get 2 IDs if you can. You know what I mean? Put your insurance card and, you know what I mean? And have everything in the packet where you can just hand it to them, man. You understand what I'm saying? If you know you're about to get pulled over, you know those 100 meters or those 500 meters you got when you're about to get pulled over, organize yourself while you drive with one hand and organize. We gonna find out. Mikolajek, Mashek. Okay. So just organize yourself. You know what I mean? Those right when you see those lights coming on in the background. Oh man. Organize yourself. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. Just get home, man. Just make sure you're able to get home, man. You ain't got to be tough. Get home. Put it in a white envelope. Something, please. But don't give these motherfuckers any excuse. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of awkward and funny how they kill you because they think you're reaching for something. And they like Castillo. He was reaching, and that little cop, was a little Mexican, not a Mexican, that little Asian cop was nervous. You see him, you see the gun shaking. I'm like, man, it's just insane, man. You know what I mean? So I had this idea I was gonna present to LA City at some point, where you know how they have apps where when you get pulled over, you have an app connected to your license plate, and the police officer can communicate with you through that app on your phone. You know what I mean? Where you can say, "Hi, I'm Officer so and so." It gives his bio. You know what I mean? I've been in the force 10 years, yada yada yada. You know what I mean? I pulled you over because you were driving 55 in the 35-mile-an-hour zone. Roll down your windows. Can you mind rolling down all 4 of your windows because it's dark out here and you got tinted windows? Just roll down all 4 and cut your thing off, and I'll be there. I'll give you 1 minute or 2 minutes to get organized. You know what I mean? So with some dialogue prior to you getting there. You understand what I'm saying? And that way everybody feels comfortable. You know what I mean? It has to be comfortable. Like some type of dialogue, some type of level of comfort. You understand what I'm saying? Because every time I get pulled over, right or wrong, I'm anxious. I got this sense of anxiety. You understand what I'm saying? Even when I hear it, you know what I mean? I just get a sense of anxiety just hearing the police. You understand what I'm saying? So I think something has to be done prior. And maybe I'll make a video on it, because if I make a video on it, then it'll get to somebody. You know what I mean? So I think that may work. And but it has to be some sort of dialogue. The dialogue is very, very important. You know what I mean? It's just important. Because when you know the cop prior to him getting on, that may help. You know what I mean? It genuinely may help. Because you can't even look over your shoulder when you see the cop. You got to look through your rear view mirror. If you have been pulled over at night and shit, you like, fuck. You like, God damn, man. You know what I mean? And without further ado, We got without further ado, man. We have Miss Ambrea. How you doing, Miss Ambrea? How you feeling?
You know what? I am hanging in there as best I can. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I genuinely appreciate you staying up with us tonight. And
For sure.
so I was giving out like $100 to everybody who can pronounce your last name correctly.
and I'm sure you didn't award
No,
any.
I actually saved
Okay.
all of my money. I actually saved all of it. So can you help me and everyone else watching? How do we pronounce the last name?
For sure. It's Ambrea Mikolajczyk.
Mikolajczyk?
Yep, you got it.
Oh, Mikolajczyk. Mikolajczyk. So thank you for coming.
What's really funny is that my maiden name is Scott.
Scott.
So yeah, my husband is Polish, so it's a fun one.
So what they call you at work?
It's funny. They call me boss lady.
see,
Yeah.
so I can work for you pretty comfortably.
They do away with it altogether. It's just
So I did some research on you. You and your husband are well accomplished, and you mind going through your background really quick in terms of college and how you left hope y'all left your job and pursue development. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to share. So I actually have a pharmacy degree. Graduated from the University of Toledo, and my husband has a finance degree from the University of Toledo. And we were both in our respective fields. I actually sold pharmaceutical sales for two of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world. Was able to travel and meet a lot of great people and get exposed to a number of awesome things. And then my husband was working for one of the larger medical institutions doing finance here locally. And we started investing in real estate just because we were curious. It was prior to us having kids, and it was as simple as, hey, my husband said, you want to invest in real estate? We were literally sitting on a couch. It was random. And I was like, sure. Like, all I know about real estate is that people who invest in real estate tend to do well in life. I thought it'd be cool to have additional revenue streams other than just our 9-to-5 jobs. So we went to an auction a couple weeks later, and we bought a house in a duplex.
Yeah.
Fixer-uppers, and we learned a lot on the fly, and then it just grew and expanded, and it was blessed. And Kevin ended up quitting his job first because I was still dedicated to my career and climbing the corporate ladder. And so I resigned at the end of 2017 to help with our property, which we have 200 units.
Really? Y'all have 200 units? Wait, time out. Y'all own 200 units?
200 units, 13 buildings, all typically in an underserved, underdeveloped neighborhood. Actually, the neighborhoods that I'm from, we invest in. And then so we have a team of professionals that help us manage those. And then what morphed out of that is a construction company. So when I resigned, I launched our construction company at the end of 2017 because people started looking at the rentals that we did and said, you know what, I love this. I bought a house, I bought a duplex, I bought a building. Can you help me? And we realized we have been doing construction management services for ourselves for, it's been almost 15 years now. So we help clients with their projects as well.
Yeah, that's actually astounding because now you're keeping as much as you can in-house.
Yes, all the time. And it's actually continued to expand and grow as we look into different business opportunities from what we've just started. And so, I'm looking to launch a furniture company because we renovate cool old buildings that come with cool old shit that don't nobody typically want to do anything with, and we repurpose and we reuse it, and people pay for kind of custom items like that. Got that going on. We're exploring possibly a cleaning business, a plumbing business. So just a lot of things are starting to happen out of our renovations and construction company.
That's actually astounding. I I too am in the real estate. I don't have 200 doors though.
I saw that. I looked you up too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I do well, but I don't have. I have just over 100, but not 200. And that's yeah. No, it's good, but I want to own a city. You understand what I'm saying? That's the goal. So I'm gonna go to middle America at some point and buy as much of the city as I can at some point. You know what I mean?
Nice. Are all of your investments in California?
I have some out of state, but very minimal. You know, what I mean, not too much, but mostly 95% are in Los Angeles.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So your so you mind diving into you actually how did you actually come to meeting Rashard and Rayshard, excuse me, and his resume? He was sent on a referral. Take your time. We have as much time as you need. If you go over 2 hours, it's fine. If we go less, it's fine too. So just take your time and
It won't be that long.
thank you.
So yeah, no, we are a small team, but we're mighty.
Mhm.
I'm really guarded on who I bring into the circle because you just don't really know what people's motives are, unfortunately. And so I'm kind of protective of who I invite in to represent our team. And so that being said, typically people come to us via referral. You know, somebody knows somebody who they think will be a good teammate, and so they refer them. We try them out for a couple of weeks. Then at that point, I'll sit down with them and kind of give them the lay of the land and our history and our future and where we're trying to go and mission and vision and all that good stuff. And so Ray came to us late spring, early summer of 2019. And he was recommended by a guy that was already on our team. And he said, hey, I have a friend. He's looking for work. He's here in Toledo. He's new in Toledo. Can we try him out? And I'm like, absolutely. And we don't have a high turnover either because I try to treat my people really well, stay with us. And so I brought him into the fold. We tried him out and he was great. He worked his butt off. He rode a bike to work. He didn't have a car. And he was like the first one to show up on the job every single day, like ready to go, smiling from ear to ear, like just use me if you will. I'm here to learn. I'm willing. Let's go. And that was his attitude the entire time he was with us. And so that's how our paths crossed. It's only here recently that I knew he was here taking care of his dad because he was very vocal about that. Like I'm here, you know, with my dad, taking care of my dad. I've reached out to a number of his family members after his passing. And I spoke with his father on Monday and I learned that that was their first time meeting as Ray being an adult, that his father knew Ray was his son and Ray knew that who his father was, but for whatever reason, they didn't have a relationship when he was growing up. And so they were building a relationship when Ray came. He actually came to Toledo in January. I found out from his dad of 2019 for the first time is when they met. And so that's how our paths crossed.
And what was his previous experience? Or what did you learn about him previous?
Yeah, so from the guy who recommended him, they had worked together on some odd and end jobs before. I think they did some third shift work at maybe a factory or something like that. And he's like, you know, he just immediately took a liking to Ray. You know, funny guy, hardworking guy. And then when my employee made the switch with us, he's like, Ray, you should come over here. And so that's what happened.
So when so he rides his bike to work. so he doesn't need a parking spot.
He did not, until he elevated and saved, and then he did get a car, which was a big deal. So.
Yeah. And what was his daily operations, or what was his job title?
And so we work on a number of different projects. So one week, you know, they might be working on an apartment reno or a turn. The next week we could be working on a historic building. The following week we might be working on an office reno. And so, I cross-train guys across all fields because we do have a number of different looks to us. And so mostly he was being trained in carpentry. He did a lot of labor intensive work, but we were teaching him, you know, flooring, tiling, painting, drywalling, framing, the typical construction stuff. So mostly carpentry work, and a lot of painting he was doing for us.
What's the conversations like on the job site? Like interactions and, as
So
detailed.
that's so awesome of a question. So today I actually had a grief counselor come in because, as you can imagine, this has been really hard and it's for all of us. And even though I've got big burly construction hard guys, this has really broken them down. And I've never been through anything like this before, as a leader. And so I thought, they do this in school systems. If a kid, dies or gets in a car accident, they bring in grief counselors. And so it's like, let me reach out and see if anyone would recommend someone to come talk to our team. So we just had that this morning. And it was so very therapeutic because we were able to talk about our race stories and cry and laugh and hug out, and pray and really have hope in continuing the work that he loved to do. And his legacy will live on through our work in building the community. So some of the stories they shared today, I had never heard before, right? Because I'm not there doing the work every day. And so we just kept laughing. So a couple stories in particular. The one employee shared today that one time his car had broken down and his ride wasn't going to be there to pick him up. And so he said Ray had hopped on his bike and he was going to head home. And he saw that Josh was walking home. And so Ray literally got off his bike and walked. So he walked with Josh as Josh was walking to his destination. And so Ray didn't ride his bike. He just pushed his bike and he walked along with Josh and they talked about a number of different things. So we just cracked up laughing at that. Since Ray was born and raised in the South, he was incredibly country. And so his accent was really thick, and absolutely hilarious. And so he would wear steel toe cowboy boots.
No way. Oh man.
So the guys would listen to music as they're doing their job throughout the day. And they said every time Old Town Road would come on.
Oh. Yeah. I went to Tennessee in January, so I know that song quite well. February.
Yes. And so they said that he would just get out there. He would stop working with them steel toe cowboy boots and start getting it to Old Town Road. And so they just started cracking up and we just laughed and laughed from that story. And then the other story that was shared today was that there was a lady who lived next door to him and she was a single mother. And her boyfriend used to beat her up. Ray didn't take too kindly to that. And so one day he took that man up top and beat him down. He told him, "Don't you ever come back here." And the guy never came back. And so at the time that Ray was furnishing his apartment, he ended up furnishing the single mom's apartment as well.
That's astounding.
Took her under his wing and was looking out for her and her kid, as well as trying to get himself together. And so that's just the type of guy that he is. I know it almost seems cliche, when people pass away, especially like this, and people get on there and they say how great of a person they were. But when I tell you he was a great person on a whole nother level, unlike anyone else. I mean, he truly was that guy. He would show up to work. I mean, I had monthly, I called them ARC family meetings, and we would meet monthly. They would be mandatory, and I had different topics. Because my thinking is, when you come to me, I want you to get everything you possibly can. You want to learn and level up, etc., and then send you on your way if you want to leave. My hope is that you stay forever, but if you don't, hopefully you leave having been better and learned something. And so I do these ARC family meetings, and they're not only centered around just safety and construction, but just some life skills. And so the last time I had a financial planner in, and they talked about what it means to use the money that you are making. How do you save and how do you plan for your family and your future? And so just different topics like that. And so during those family meetings, I would always talk about the state of the company. Like, okay, this month we did this much in sales. These are the jobs that we're working on. These are the jobs that we're actively pursuing. We're on track to hit X amount of dollars this year. Last year we were here, we're going to double, right? And I'd be so excited sharing these slides. And I would scan the room and Ray's face would legit be lit up, like smiling from ear to ear, being a part of the type of community work that we were doing and the success of the company. And I could tell that he hadn't been brought into folds such as that. You know, I'm always mindful to say, hey, listen, we don't exist without you guys. Thank you for showing up every day, doing the work every day. We're not a company without you. So, and so he really bought into the mission and the vision, and he took it to heart. And it was evident every single day he showed up. I mean, he really did make all of us better. There were some guys today, as we were kind of talking about healing and grief, they still couldn't even talk. About it. Or guys, I'd say, hey, you're quiet. You know, what do you want to say? Do you want to say anything? And they were like, I can't talk. Even my husband couldn't even be in a room. He just was off to the corner in the hallway because it's just too much to bear. I think it's, you know, it's a whole nother thing if someone dies of natural causes or someone dies because they're sick or elderly or even a car accident, even you're devastated. But to have such a senseless death like this that could have been avoided so many times. I mean, you watch the video and, you know, the footage, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, every angle, right? We saw every piece of it. There were so many opportunities to A, let him walk home, or B, call him an Uber, or, you know, sit him in a police car even and let him just like sleep it off. It just went south so quickly. And especially in our current climate, to have one of our own be murdered in that fashion, it's just a whole nother level of grief to have to deal with.
Yeah, you used the word, murder. So obviously we heard about what happened today. You want to give your, you want to share your sentiments on one, the cop being charged on 11 or 12 count. I got two sources. One said 11, one said 12, and the other officer turning on him and actually going with Rayshard's team.
Yeah. A lot of emotions, I guess. First off, the fact that he's even being convicted and brought on charges is a huge win, because we know and time again, the officers don't even get charged, right? They're on paid administrative leave and they're doing an investigation. So I think even just having this guy being charged is a huge step forward. Is it complete justice? Absolutely not. We'll see what happens when he has his day in court, and hopefully charges do come, and you know, we can have some sort of solace and closure and justice is served. But you know, as Black folks, you really don't know how that's going to go. Us, it's so evidently clear, and then people still don't get charged. And so even though they're bringing these charges, obviously we need to wait and see if it really does pan out the way that we're all hoping for. My husband was telling me, I didn't see this. The officer who first responded started talking to himself out loud. I don't know if you saw this. He was saying to himself how he didn't want to deal with this, right? Like he didn't want to do it, or he didn't want to deal with it. I guess his protocol was then you needed to call in a person to review sobriety at that point. And video footage of the first officer not wanting to do that. And when I talked to you earlier and you said that it was on CNN and it was being announced, and I turned it on and I was doing okay because we had essentially just had therapy. And so the first time since this happened, I didn't feel as foggy. And I was able to think and get some things done. And I was feeling like I was in an okay place. I watched the CNN video, and I saw him kick him. And then I saw them stand on top of him, and it wiped me out. Um, Nobody deserves to die in that way, and especially not Ray, who was such a great person. And I've been questioning a lot. God, why? Right? He was only with us for a short amount of time, and so why did you even allow our paths to cross? You know what I mean? And for him to be such an amazing guy, and for us to have this deep relationship with him, and love and fondness, and him to come and impact our life in that way. And he was always coming back. That was the other thing. Just up until 2 weeks ago, my staff was all in contact with him. 3 of the guys on my team were his best friends. They talked to him 2 weeks ago. My sister, who's our project manager, we would say, hey, have you talked to Ray lately? And she was like, yeah, I talked to him. And he said he's coming back. Like, he was always coming back. Like, he loved the life that he was having in Toledo. Family here. He was finally establishing a relationship with his father that was solid. And he wanted to be here, like a fresh start, if you will. And to now know that he's just not coming back. Just, it's really hard. Really hard.
When he was in that, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, to see it all play out the way that it did, when it could have been avoided so many times, and then for that officer to just kind of go rogue in that way, and it escalate, and then result in his death, and then it just blatant disrespect and disregard of his life even after he was shot.
Sure.
I mean, devastating.
Yeah. I didn't know. I just found out today, after I got off the phone with you, that it was a 41-minute exchange. I didn't know that until the longest thing I saw was 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm thinking to myself, if you're conversing with, because we only the last 5 minutes is what I saw, right? So I'm thinking you had 36 minutes to get to that point. To me, it's like, it don't make any sense to me that the 41st minute, the 38th minute, that you have the right to take a man's life. You had so many moments to de-escalate the situation. Excuse me, he was already calm, it looked like.
He was calm, he was collected, he was compliant, right? Because that's the other, word, whether you comply or not, as a definition on whether or not you should lose your life. Answered every question they had for him, several times answering the same damn question. So it was almost like they were baiting him, if you will, but he stayed calm and collected, and he did everything they wanted. They wanted to pat him down. He said yes. They said, take the field sobriety. He did that. They said blow in the breathalyzer. He did that. They said park over here. He did that. Like, so many things. He asked to walk home. My sister lives here. Like, I had a drink and a half. What did you drink? I don't know. I was at a party. They poured it. Like, so calm, so collected. And in fact, when they first came and knocked on the door and opened it, he smiled. He's like, oh man, I fell asleep. And he's kind of like laughing, because that's the kind of guy that he was. Like, oh man, like, just really never a bad day, right? So I can even see him in that circumstance, his personality still just shining through, like non-confrontational. Hey, everything's all good. Like, I know you heard him say, I know you guys have a job to do, right? I know you guys have a job to do. I'm here, do your job. My sister lives here. You can let me walk home. You can, like, so many alternatives that didn't have to result in his murder.
Now, when you hear him conversing and you correlate that to your to him at work, and some of the characteristics you saw when you chose to hire him, pretty parallel, pretty consistent.
100%. Was Ray the entire time. When I was watching CNN earlier, and the officer, or I don't know his title, was he DA, who was explaining. I mean, he really did word for word, just followed us through the entire process and what, the video evidence showed. He said Ray was even jovial, was the words that he used. He was even jovial, he said, which was exactly Ray. Like, not a bad day, happy, smiling from ear to ear, getting through whatever. Nothing really fazed him. The one story that one of my employees shared today was that there was this terrible apartment. Like, this person had left it in a terrible state. So they're going in there, and my employee Josh didn't even want to go in there. He's like, "Look, that apartment's terrible. Like, I'm not going there. I'm going to go do something else."
Sure.
So Ray goes in there and he's getting after it, right? He's bringing out mattresses, he's ripping up carpet, doing all the things. And then Josh says at one point, Ray comes out and he goes, "Man," and he was so country. He goes, "Man, I never seen no bed bugs before." There's bed bugs in there. Bed bugs, but just in a way that was so funny and like hilarious. And then, like, at one point his bike had gotten stolen.
Wow.
And then he got a new bike, and it was like purple with fur and like all this stuff. And there was another instance where another time this tenant left this apartment in terrible condition. The toilet was disgusting, the sink was disgusting. I hired the cleaning person, and she goes in there, she comes right back out, and she goes, "Ambrea, I can't clean that. Like, there's no way." So I'm like, "That's okay, I'll just replace it." And Ray goes in there, and he's like, "I'll clean that." And we're like, "Really?" He's like, "Yep." And he went in there and he cleaned it in a way that it looked like it was brand new. Came out, he said, "Y'all can eat off of that right now. Y'all can eat off of it." That was just him showing up on the work, whatever I got to do, whatever you need me to do to be a part of this team. Like, I'm here, I'm willing, like, let's go. That was him.
What did he do outside of work in Toledo besides protect women, furnish their homes, be a great asset at work? What's some other things that you know of? Did he play basketball? Did he shine his boots?
So I learned from his father that, that was their first time meeting as an adult. And so, Ray knew his father and his father knew Ray, but for whatever reason, they didn't have a relationship when he was a child. So when he came to Toledo, that was his first time meeting his son as an adult. And so they had a lot of first. And so Ray and his father was working on building their relationship. And in fact, his father said he took him fishing for the first time. Ray had never been fishing. And that was a great time. Ray had never seen snow before. And him and his father went sledding for the first time. And his father said, "Can you imagine Ray sledding?" And we just cracked up laughing and we're crying. But he was working on building a solid relationship with his father. They were making up for lost time. And then, and then he was doing the community work with us. And so that's what he was focused on.
Where's Ray from originally? Is he from Georgia? Oh, he's born and raised in Georgia. Okay.
Yep.
Did you ever get a chance to meet his kids and his wife?
Nope. I just talked to them after all this. So I spoke with Tamika on Monday. I also spoke with his half sister who's here on Monday as well. Tamika, very strong, poised, solid. I called her to extend my condolences. And I wanted her to know how much we loved him here and how much we were hurting and grieving from his loss, and that we were with her, and to see if there's anything that I could do for her. And of course I was sad, I was crying, and she said, "You don't make me cry." She said, "Ray would not want you to be sad. He would not want you to cry. And you have to carry on for him. That's what he would want you to do." And I'm like, what kind of jerk calls to console the wife and is crying? and she consoles me. And just so strong and resilient. And when I asked her if there was anything that I can do, she immediately said, and she doesn't know me and I don't know her. She doesn't even have any social media. So it's not like she can look me up or know what he was doing. But I do some public speaking. And she said, I would like for you to speak at the funeral.
Mm.
And that kind of took me back a little bit because she doesn't know me.
Mm.
And I literally just called to tell her that, we loved Ray and we were here for her. And, I just didn't expect that response. I expected her, get his father here or whatever, pay for some gas money or something like that. But she just asked me to come to the funeral and speak.
Any word on the date of the funeral?
Yes. So funeral is Tuesday and visitation is Monday. And when I asked, so I told her, of course, I'd be there, whatever. So as I was trying to find flights and hotels, I thought Atlanta is big. So let me make sure I at least get in the vicinity of where it's going to be. And so I texted her today to find out where it was going to be held. And she said, Ebenezer Baptist Church.
Oh. Mm.
And
Mm.
I'm just like, really, for such a time as this, right, to be in Martin Luther King Jr.'s church, where he gave messages over and over again of hope and resilience and better days, and was just this pillar of strength for everyone. And it's like we're going through the exact same thing they were going through in the 60s, right now today. And so to have that significance right now today and raise death. And so with me questioning God, like, why did our paths cross? I don't understand this type of pain and heartache and short period of time. Why did you allow this? And today with the counselor, I feel like it's clear. I named my company Arc Restoration and Construction on purpose because it has been a complete and utter leap of faith. I have a pharmacy degree, running a construction company and a real estate, operation, like only by faith that we're doing these things. I feel like God has placed us on this platform for a very specific reason. I don't have any hidden agenda. I really just only want Ray back. I mean, I don't, I don't want to be on CNN. I don't want to be on ABC News. I'd rather, if I was, I'd rather be known for the great work I do in the community for building and the people that I hire for second and third and fourth chances. That's what I want to be known for, not for my beloved employee who was slain by officers, and so I don't know. I just believe that through Ray's death, because he was you don't have great people like that to be with you for a short period of time and have that type of impact if he's not going, his life will not be in vain, his death would not be in vain. It's going to be something bigger, and that's exactly what the counselor said today. What happened is so much bigger than what my art team can see, what I can see, and we just have to walk in it and continue to do the work and continue to spread the good news about who Ray was and counteract the BS that they keep trying to say about him. And so I'll just keep talking and shouting from the rooftops about how amazing he was every single day. And when I've got a team of, 17, 18 people today in a room bawling their eyes out and not being able to talk, now that's a great person. That's a person who shouldn't be villainized or dehumanized. He should be lifted up. And I believe through Ray's murder, that he's going to save all of our sons. That when they're 27 years old and they've had a cocktail and they get hungry, how many times I've partied, had a cocktail too many and went to Taco Bell because I needed something greasy. but I lived. So maybe when my kid, I've got a 13 on Monday and an 11-year-old son, that when they get hungry after having a drink and they just need something to eat, and they're in a parking lot, that through Raise Death, there's policy, there's police reform. And now when an officer responds, they respond with compassion, love, grace, mercy, and not anger, fear, enticement. That Ray is going to be able to change the narrative and save our babies. And so that's what I'm holding on to.
What would you want to happen to the police officer? Are you death penalty, life in prison?
I don't. I have conflicting views. On one hand, I want him to get the absolute maximum penalty you can possibly get, which would be the death penalty. And on the other hand, I want him to sit in prison and live with the choices that he made every single day of his life. And it haunt him and torture him and have to sit and live in that. What really makes me angry is that this guy had how many infractions? 12 infractions.
Wow.
Infractions. And he was reprimanded for 3. What job do you know that you can have and you can mess up 12 times, get reprimanded for 3, and still have that job that taxpayers pay for? What job do you know? 0. And not only that, the records are classified and sealed. We don't even get to see what you've done. It's absolutely ridiculous and unheard of. I feel like, the entire system has to be changed from top to the bottom. It has to be reformed because none of it makes any good sense.
Were you, how do you feel about the second officer?
First thoughts is that he's trying to save his own butt, to be honest with you, so that he doesn't have to face the exact same charges as the other guy is. And so by him cooperating, now he's going to get a lesser punishment. And so that kind of stinks. But it's, again, the jacked up system that we live in.
Sure.
Because he could have mitigated it as well. He called that guy to do the sobriety. He did that, issued the citation, move on, right? Like you guys both stood there interrogating the mess out of him for 40 some minutes for no reason.
I have yet to see that video. I have yet to see that.
You should watch it. Well, especially today on CNN, he did a complete and utter breakdown down to the inches. He's like, the officers were standing here, they were 5 foot apart, this was 18 foot apart, or, and then the officer had fired several shots. And so they even had videos of the other cars that the bullets went into.
Oh, shit.
So it wasn't just the 2 that Ray took, it was more, and they went everywhere. And what's really, what I find different about this is that we have every single angle of what happened. Wendy's footage was amazing. The cop cam that was on was amazing. So you get the front angle, you get the back, you get the side. There's no way you can refute anything that happened, which is typically, what happens. Not too long ago, actually last year, I went and visited the International Justice Mission monument that Brian Stevenson did along with Oprah and some other community leaders. And it's just a beautiful memorial, but it just pays tribute to all the, nameless African-American people who were hung. And it pays tribute to all of them. And although it's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time, you see just all of the people who did not have a voice and whose family never got any closure or any type of justice was served, none of that. And what's so great about today is that we have these video cameras. And so you're going to be called out. You're going to be called out, you're going to be videotaped, and you're going to have to be held accountable. And so I think, again, through Raise Death, since we have every single angle that you could possibly have and you cannot refute how ridiculous it was, even though some will try. Conviction has to happen. It has to happen, and I think that it will be a huge step in the right direction into getting reform and changing the system.
What's your mindset as it pertains to the police officers still knowing that they're being recorded, especially after George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, and I know that wasn't a police case, but you're gonna be recorded, and they still act so brazen.
I think because it is in a police culture that existed since the beginning of time, and it's like this blue code that they have, to be honest with you, because how else do you explain after George Floyd, you've got 75 officers standing outside of his house getting paid by tax dollar money, and they're all armed up, suited and booted, protecting this guy's home. And so this goes back from the beginning of time, and it's a system that has been created for this type of oppression. And so they know that nothing is going to be done to them. Typically, there's zero recourse. I don't care if you have me on videotape. How many videos do we have? And they still don't get convicted.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, there's no recourse. And so they don't have to be held accountable because they're protected. I mean, how else is this guy still on the force after 12 infractions, 3 slaps on the wrist, and you're still out there doing what you do? So I think it's just systemic.
Are you in favor of disbanding, defunding, training?
So I believe that we do need officers, but this is the thing. The whole system has to be shaken up. So I sit on a number of boards, and I talk a lot to the mayor, and we do a number of different things here in the community, and we've had these discussions. What does training even look like? Do we know? We pay for the police officers, but we don't even know how the hell they're getting trained. And so should we be sitting in on those? They need to hear firsthand stories from minorities about all of our encounters. What I've now come to realize is that I was raised in the hood, and so my entire neighborhood, they were all Black people. They looked exactly like me. And so my school, all Black, everybody looked exactly like me. Then my only encounters with white folk were teachers, or teachers, etc. Right? And then I went to high school. My parents switched it up, and everybody was white. And then that was a huge culture shock for me. But what was so interesting is then I was able to get perspective, right? And I didn't have biases anymore or stereotypes. Those were broken down because I was able to then do life and have friends who didn't look like me. And so you're talking about people who are policing, who have only been in situations where everybody in their neighborhood looks exactly like them. They're typically from the same socioeconomic background as them. They go to the same damn schools, elementary, junior high, high school, college. Then they get into the workforce, or they choose to be a police officer. And then they come into it thinking that, they have their biases about who they think Black people are. That's society. We are. And they have their stereotypes. These are the same officers you then put in our neighborhoods. And so the best way that I heard it said was by Ryan Stevenson. I heard him do an interview a couple of weeks ago. And he said, we are training police officers as if they are the military. And we are not training them in a manner that they are guardians and they are supposed to be protecting and serving, right? We're training them to be militant. And so when they walk in their neighborhoods, and they are neighborhoods, and they already think about us a certain way, hell yeah, they're going to look at us like we're the enemies. It's like them versus us. They don't look at us and say, they don't put their guard down and say, you know what? I love you. Hey, I'm officer such and such. I was just thinking about this when we had to talk with the mayor. Someone said, when they come and they drive by my neighborhood, they look over and they mean mug me. They mean mug me. It's not friendly. They don't wave. They don't smile. They mean mug me. How about why don't we know who police our neighborhood? Why don't we? Every business say, hey, under new management, come check us out. We're doing things differently. We should know when there's what cop polices our neighborhoods in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Why can't they come and go door to door without their guns? You know, maybe a polo on and say, hey, I'm officer such and such. I am tasked with policing your neighborhood. I'm here to protect you and to serve you. Glad to meet you, right? And then we can start to break down these walls. And then we just need to do life together more. Since I own the company and since I have apartment buildings, I'm very intentional about placement of my residents. I've got Middle Eastern, I've got Mexicans, I've got students, I've got elderly, I've got single moms, I've got Section 8, I've got middle class. You know what I do? I put them all in one 15-unit apartment building together. Okay, on purpose. Because I feel like that's my small part to play in breaking down walls and biases and stereotypes. Because what if you did life with this person, if you get out in the real world, now you're not coming from a place of fear or lack of understanding. Because guess what? I lived with a person who looked just like that. And that's not true, right? I do that not only in my apartment buildings, in my units, but then I do that from my construction company as well. And so I've got old people, I've got young people, I've got white people, Black people. I've got a whole gamut of people on my team on purpose. So I can kind of do my small part to create community and break down those walls. And so that's what's missing from the police department. Mm-hmm. What type of training are you have? The other part about it is, I realize now that people don't have the same background I have. When I went to those all Black schools, we are singing Negro, hymnals. We are learning what it means and the importance of registering to vote, and the people who died before us to make it even possible to register to vote. I had experiences through my college program where we did the Selma to Montgomery March on one of the anniversaries, right? I met people from the SCLC. I met Coretta Scott King, right? So I've got those type of experiences. White people don't have those type of experience, right? They may not be exposed to those type of things that I was exposed to based on my culture and the way that I was raised. And so they're not the same. And so unfortunately, they just don't see things the way that I see it. But yet they come into our neighborhoods supposedly policing and protecting us when they have not a clue on who the hell we are. And so the system's just jacked up. And so it just has to be fixed. Mm-hmm. Top on down. It has to start with training. There has to be some racial sensitivity training. There has to be some cultural training, some African-American studies. I mean, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of police in our own communities. I even was so mad, and not mad, but I was so inspired that I was like, man, I just need 100 men. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to go out like Michael Johnson or Chris Dorner, you know what I mean? But I just think long term, we need to have like long-term solutions, pensions, full-time jobs, and because people should get paid for risking their life. You understand what I'm saying? And I just think that we're knocking them down, you know what I mean? But I don't know if we're killing the systemic in them, you know what I mean? Because I'm looking at the world now, and I'm looking at all these corporations monetize our struggle, you know, and it's bothering me quite a bit. You know what I mean? I too have a blended family, Asian and Black. And however, I'm looking at these people donate pennies, you know what I mean? Just to say, hey, I'm cool with you too, man. You know what I mean? Hey, I got one Black friend. Hey, I just hired 2 employees. Juneteenth is Friday. Perfect time for y'all to come back and shop with me and get your Juneteenth t-shirts. You know what I mean? You know, so I'm very cognizant of that, You know what I mean? In terms of how corporations are going to monetize us and get us back to politics as usual. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. That's why I think it's so important to continue conversations like this, and just get the word out and continue to band together and demand more. And it's not anything that's going to take, that's going to be overnight. This system has existed for time. And I think, it's just going to take baby steps, but we have to continue the fight. I am encouraged. I mean, to be honest with you, I feel like it takes all of us to play our role in that. And I keep saying that to everyone. We do need people who can sit in the front with their hands up, take a rubber bullet, right? We do need the people in the back, fortunately, who have to burn some shit up. Like I know that sucks.
Dog. Why don't we put our brains and our money together? Shit, man. I say the same. I mean, like, continue. I'll get the rebound after you shoot. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, literally, we need the person in the front. We need the person in the back. Maybe, send some shit on fire. And we need people in the boardroom.
Yes.
Who have been invited to have a seat at that table to then impact change in that way as well. And so we need all of the things to work together. What's really been frustrating to me is Black folks being angry at the way other Black folks are responding and doing things. And that frustrates me, because I'm like, it takes us all.
Yes.
One of us.
Yes.
And the other part about it that I've been frustrated about, and I don't know if you have this same view, is that for the first time, my white friends are reaching out and speaking out. And, they've got their Black dots and they're saying, hey, I stand with you. Just tell me what to do. I want to listen. I don't get it. This is your life. I didn't know it was your life. Like, so for the first time ever, they are willing to be in this fight with us. So my perspective is we need them to be in the fight if we want things to change. What stresses me out is now, again, you have Black folks who say, well, no, don't do it like that. You need to be doing it like this. Well, don't say that because, that's the wrong way. Or don't do. So then I'm pissed. And then I even have friends who are mad at their white friends for reaching out to them, asking questions. But for me, I'm like, if no one tells them, how the flip are they supposed to know? I thought I've been put in these positions for a reason, to educate in a way that they can receive it. So this is the thing. You need people who can talk rationally and have the seats at the table. And then you do need people with a bullhorn to go ham and scream and yell and holler. And I just think it takes all of us in the mix, if we want to progress.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. I said, I mean, we're not the only people fighting this machine, like I'll share with you a story that I saw actually at the Wendy's. This was Saturday night when I got back from the rally. There was a Black guy filming a white person saying, see, it's not us burning it down. And I said to myself, all right, who gives a fuck? Like, we're not the only person mad at this system. You know what I mean? There's a white guy who feels like, I got a college degree, I got a PhD, and they offered me $30,000 and I got student loans. They're angry too. You know what I mean? We got people in North Dakota that are really angry at this system.
That's right.
Let them vent the way they want to vent.
That's
I'm
right.
not stopping. I'll be honest, man. I'm like, when I'm all in, I only see the finish line. You understand? I don't see collateral damage as like it just happens. If I'm a part of the collateral damage, I can accept it too. You know what I mean? I've done my part. I've taken out insurance policies. I've had conversations.
Right.
Yeah, you understand. So I'm not afraid to do what I have to do. Because this is YouTube, I'm gonna say do what I have to do. You understand? And I just think that if we're all on the same page, which is quite challenging, you know what I mean? Because we're so satisfied with being the first Negro to make white people money. You know what I mean? Right. You know, and it bothers me to the core, man. You know what I mean? I wish we all, and I just wish we all just got in line and just, you know what I mean, in every city, just all the Latinos, all the whites, all the Asians, all the blacks, just swamp them. Like, remember the movie The Blob, how it took over the city when we were kids? Remember that movie, The Blob?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. Similar to something like that.
Yep, I'm 100% with you.
Mm.
And gosh, to the people who are like, you know, obviously I don't want to see shit, you know, burning down. I mean, I build stuff up, so I get it. But at the same time, if somebody said to me, not another black life will have to be lost at the hands of police if you burn that shit down, where is the match?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with. I've had this conversation.
Where's the match? Because at the end of the day, it's something that's material, and you can never get a life back. I can rebuild that. I've got insurance, but I can't bring Ray back. And so, if you said to me, "Burn that down," another black life will be senselessly lost. I would do it in a heart.
I couldn't agree with you more. I had this conversation with a friend and also shared it with people on the line and on this show. I says, honestly, like, I'm a wealthy man, right? So I say, honestly, if they burnt down my building, I'm getting 30% on top. I got everything in that building. I got all this machinery. And guess what? It's only gonna cost me $20,000 to
pay your deductible
to relocate the tenant. I'm thinking, so all this fake anger, all this fake, you understand what I understand, that the tenants may be lost and they lose things, but the owners of the actual property are like, earn that whole down. Like, I'm gonna win. You know what I mean? And it's really
it's short-sighted. Incredibly short-sighted. Because the loss of life is so much.
I don't get that neither. How can you compare the two?
Yes, it's just so ridiculous. I think that okay, so my Instagram, so I put a tribute to Ray because immediately I was like, oh my God. Oh, I have to counteract this because I already knew what was about to happen. Dehumanized. They were going to try to bring up his past, almost to justify his killing. I knew.
Yep.
Like, nope. Let me get this out. And so I put that on my Facebook. I think it's been shared probably, I don't know. I haven't even looked at it recently. 400 and sometimes, 500 sometimes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And on Instagram, it was just reposted and reshared and reposted and reshared. Even Kourtney Kardashian put it on her Instagram story.
Sure, beautiful.
And so I've had people reach out to me from all over the world.
I know. I was one of them.
And people from Caribbean, Europe, Canada, Asia, saying, thank you so much for your tribute. Thank you for letting us know who Ray truly was.
It's important.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Over and over and over and over again. And so I know the work that I'm doing means something. But this is the thing. Okay, so I'm not like huge social media. I mean, I'm trying. I understand how important it is to your business. And so I do try to do as best I can. But I haven't hired anyone to manage it. It's me, my husband. So what I've noticed the past 2 or 3 days is that, I get a whole bunch of people who are positive, great things to say. But recently, I've had a flooding of negative, like really bad negative stuff. Like, well, he was in jail, so, or, oh, he did this, or what did he say? Oh, yes, such a great guy. Black people being victims again, like literally like that. And then it's funny because I'll click on the person's name and they have like one post.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like 5 friends. and or 5 followers, and it's private.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know what? These suckers are like organized.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, they have a group, and they're like, bam, tear that down. That one right there. She keeps deleting whatever, keeps flooding her thing. They must have a group because it's the same core like message.
Sure.
I'm new to this.
Mm-hmm.
I just told my husband before I got on here. I said, you know what? I think I'm being targeted because literally just now before I got on here, there were 4 random posts from a nobody. And it was 4 about just crap and mean stuff. Yeah. And I slide them and delete them. But they must be organized in their efforts to dehumanize and devalue our lives.
They come for you. Oh, let me tell you, they come. I get come for it. Anytime, like, since I do predominantly boxing, anytime like a major black fighter comes on and he loses or don't perform well, oh man, I get called nigga 114 times on Sunday. Oh yeah. Oh man. See, I got a filter so people don't see it. But I have like a filter, and so yeah, so I block the word.
Show me how to do that.
No, on YouTube. On YouTube. On YouTube. Hey, let me ask you this. Here's what I struggle with. Here's what I genuinely struggle with. And I'm gonna lean on you for advice because you've been a parent longer than I have. Saturday was literally the toughest day of my life. When I say the toughest, in terms of like me being a black man in the world, right? I'm 42. I'm grown, family. I felt like I've done the ABCs of life, if not good, great, somewhere in between. And I go to bed at 1:30. I see Ray, and I wake up and I have to go to a rally in Palmdale, California, where they said Robert Fuller. And I'm at a rally next to the tree where they say he hung himself. And in that moment, I'm sitting there sobbing. In the moment, I said, I'm 100% in on this shit now. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the moment when Tupac said he got beat by the cops. He said that changed his life forever. That Friday night, Saturday morning, going into about noon, those 12 hours literally shifted my life forever. You understand? And that leads me to this point. How do you entertain conversations in a blended family? You know what I mean? I struggle with engaging my kids. You understand? I don't. They're 5 and 2. So, and Dre is shit. I don't know how old she is. Dre is 38 in there, and you know, so, and she doesn't know this life because it goes from home. She's a doctor, so home, doctor, take the kids to private school. Home, doctor, take the kids to private school. So I don't struggle with it, but just the long-term understanding of it, because they're so utopic. You know what I mean? Oh, the world is beautiful, you know? How do you have those conversations?
So our experience is different.
Sure.
So my husband and I met in high school.
Oh, wow.
And so he was 16 and I was 17 when we met.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked together at Finish Line. So we both share a love.
You got that 30%.
How'd you know?
I stole shoes from Finish Line. I ain't gonna need a lot of y'all, man. Shit. Oh man. Anyways, continue.
So anyway, we met at Finish Line, and then we found out later that we went to the same high school.
Okay.
So my husband has always had black friends, a black girlfriend, right from the time he was 16 years old.
Sure.
And he is always been, or has always been, guilty by association. And so unfortunately for him, he's been treated just like black folks get treated, because he's in the car with his black friends and he gets pulled over and they know where they're going and what they're doing. He's been pulled out and strip searched. He's been pulled over. Gosh, he's been at apartment buildings that we've been renovating in lower income neighborhoods and have been pulled out of a car, and like game unit called because they want to know what he's doing there. And he's like, I'm renovating this building that I just bought. And so for him, he's always been harassed and he's always been in situations. What's really different though, whiteface, he's one of these like angry white dudes who get pulled over that you see on TV. And I'm sitting in the car like, you can't do that with me in the car, bro. He'll be like, what did you pull me over for? I'm in front of my house. Yeah. I'm like, no. We've got 4 kids in the back. Like, this is not going to work out. You have to be a better example. I've had to sell this to him. We were literally at a baseball game. So we love baseball games in the summer. It's our summer pastime. We have the Toledo Mud Hens here. And we buy season tickets and we walk because we live downtown. And so we walk to the games and it's our favorite thing to do ever. And there was the one security guard where when you were leaving, she did not let you out the one gate. Like she was not letting you out the gate. They wanted you to go all the way around the stadium. So he's like, what? But the gate right here. We leaving out this gate. What you mean? Like we going? Come on. He's like blowing by the security guard. To me, with my 4 little brown babies, to ass. No. We're not following you. We're going to walk around. And when I get home, I have to literally pull him aside and I say, Kevin, listen here. You have to be an example for Black little kids. That might be okay for you and you might get away with that. But you cannot be that example for your children. They cannot behave like that in the presence of security or officers because in death, jail, lawsuit, now they caught up in felonies and now they're just in the system forever. And so you cannot behave in that manner with brown children. So even though he's had those experiences with him personally, he's still so pissed off that it's happening to him that he's able to react, but he can react and still live. Fortunately, my babies don't have that and I don't have that luxury. And so we have to, do what we have to do to make sure we live to see another day. So that's kind of what our conversations look like. Unfortunately, he has all the experiences too. It's really interesting with us because of the fields that we're in. So, owning a construction company as a Black woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. No, I'm with you too. I do my own construction, everything. You know what I mean? I get it. I understand.
So it's a tight-knit group and it's unionized. We have a really huge union presence here.
Oh wow.
If you're not union, they're not letting you in.
Well, you're getting the contracts from the city now too, right?
Yeah, so the city I can get contracts from, but not the county because typically there's like PLAs because it's county. So they make deals. And so it's just a whole political thing.
Yeah, I get that.
And there's some times where I'm like, okay, Kevin, this is a room that you need to go into. Fortunately, like, I tried to go in that room and I tried to say ABC and I didn't get anywhere. Like, for instance, there's this business that we're trying to buy. It is a pest control company and they do really well. Obviously with 200 units and growing, we're just always going to be dealing with pest control.
Absolutely.
He wants to get out. He wants to retire. And Kevin had plenty of conversations with this guy. We've been in there buying his products about he wanting to get out of business. He wants to get out of the business and he's looking for somebody to take it over. And so Kevin comes to me and he's like, oh my gosh, this guy wants to sell his business. I think it'll be great. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, immediately. How much does he want for it? What can we do? This is a great extension. And then we can bring this in-house. We can have another business line and we can save significant money. So I'm at the bank one day. I see the guy. That's the guy who wants to sell his pest control company, right? Because I hear him introduce himself to a white gentleman and they're, white guys. And I'm like, oh, that's him. I'm going to say something.
Oh, Jesus.
So why did I do that? So But whatever. Sometimes I'm just not aware, right? So anyway, I introduce myself and I tell him that Kevin, I know he's interested in selling his business. We're very, very interested. Is there an opportunity for us to sit down and maybe talk about it more, the value, maybe bring our attorneys in, etc. Right? Having this whole thing. We're in the Bay. And he looks at me, he kind of steps back a little bit. He goes, oh, okay, yeah. He was kind of cordial a little bit. And we talked a little. But then when I mentioned the sell of his business, his tune completely changed. He said, no, my nephew is going to take it over. And I said, oh, now, mind you, Kevin had literally just had this conversation with this guy the week prior.
Mm-hmm.
And I had asked Kevin to follow up with him, and he didn't. So when I saw him, I'm like, oh, this is a sign. He is in this bank. Let me follow up. I'm going to buy this business, right? So he said, no, my nephew is going to take over the business. So yeah, I'm going to be getting out, but probably not until 5 or 10 years. And then after that point, my nephew's taking it over. And I said, oh, is he? But literally, that was not the conversation that he just had with my white-faced husband a week ago. So that's okay, whatever. So I get in the car and I'm like, Kevin, oh my gosh, I just met the guy who you talked to and wanted to sell your business to. I told him about the conversation and he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So I go, clearly, this is a conversation that you need to have with him and not me. Because he was going to clearly have a problem with selling his business to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly.
But not my wife. But not my husband, right? You know how this goes. And so Kevin legit went in there last week. And this guy is singing the same tune. Yes, I'm so glad to see you again. We want to sell the building. We want to sell the business and the building. Yes, we should certainly sit down and talk about what that should look like.
Mm.
Me, he had zero business talk for me. Zero business talk. But Kevin, he was all about it. So unfortunately, we have to play that game. Not a whole lot, but sometimes, I can call that out. Like, okay, clearly they're not understanding the things. And I have a background. And so we would do that all the time. Like, some physicians just took a liking to certain reps over the other. And so, I would be like, okay, you take the lead on this one. And they'd be like, okay, they hate me, so you take the lead on this one. And we would kind of play that. And so unfortunately in business, Kevin and I have to do that all the time based on.
Mm-hmm. I'm getting a few DMs. Do you want to take 2 or 3 questions from the people?
Yeah, let's take some questions.
Okay, let's do that. So I'm gonna open up the phone lines and right now. We got about 30 minutes, guys. And so feel free to call in. I'm not sure if you saw the you've been reading the chat. Have you been reading the chat?
I haven't. Let me pull the chat up.
It's in the comments part. Did you see? I should have told you from the top.
Oh shoot, yes.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
oh, it says my volume is going in and out. Everything is off.
Yeah, but I figured with that decor, you know what I mean, it's just so big, you know what I mean. So I just let it go. No, that's actually a blessing, man. What's some of the things that you saw that you wanted to dispel, just in case someone cuts this interview up? Some things that you saw that they said about Ray that you immediately want to dispel. The phone lines are open, guys. Go ahead.
So, one of the things that I've seen negative about him is his criminal past.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to bring that up. That justifies his death.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, we all have a past. And Ray had served his time. Mm-hmm. Ray was building an amazing life with his kids, his wife, and his family, his relationship with his father, and was establishing himself in the field of construction. And so shame on those who try to make the correlation as if they're related. They're two totally separate things. We all do things in our past that we may not be proud of, but you should define you, and you should find from the things that you learned from your past. And that's exactly what Ray was doing. He was an amazing human. And then not only that, people have colored backgrounds. That's the other thing that people discount. You have everybody don't come from homes where they were in a loving circumstance.
Sure.
They had a mom who loved them, a father who loved them. No, people come from broken homes. People come from parents who were broken. Just because you were a parent don't mean that you make all the right decisions and you do right by your children. And so I don't know all of Ray's past, but I do know that it was colored and he wasn't as supported as he should have been. Out of that comes some untoward things, and you get caught up in different crowds and situations that you find yourself in that you didn't want to be in, but it just happened, but you grow from it and you learn. And again, it shouldn't justify the type of death that he had. And so that is complete and utter BS. And I hate that they keep trying to bring up his criminal past as if the two are correlated and that's why he died. And
I dispel that. And the first time I actually saw like living proof of us changing the narrative, in my opinion, was the Ahmaud Arbery case, when because people wasn't sharing, like, I don't know if he had a mugshot at all, but they wasn't showing those type of pictures. It was him in his hat.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And that's one of the reasons why what inspired me to want to get you on. You know what I mean? Because I know that this is throughout time that people are going to use this as a reference point. And you said some really dope things. You in the union, you have 17 employees, so you're actually doing your part in the community. If you mind talking about that, please.
Yeah, so I am not in the union. I'm non-union.
Oh, non-union. Okay, got you.
Yes. So I do run into some issues being in a heavy unionized community.
Uh-huh.
But the great thing about us is that we were owners first. And that's how we even got into construction. Mm-hmm. So for us, it's not that bad because, hey, I can just go buy a building and renovate and have my work on it. And that's how we work it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to hire me, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And so that's how we've been able to work it. And it's worked out really well for us.
Mm. And how many employees do you currently have?
So, okay, we've got, when Ray was with us, we had 16.
Beautiful.
Coronavirus, I had to lay off 5 people because we lost some construction jobs. You know, people were like, show up, we're scared. But those are starting to come back online. I did have to hire another maintenance person during coronavirus because everybody was at home, and all that wear and tear, you know, those buildings aren't meant for everybody to be at home at the same thing on time. Yeah. So I had to hire another maintenance person. And so when I bring everybody back, we'll be close to 19 people.
Beautiful. And
so
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I've got 19 people. I've got masons because we specialize in historic buildings. And so I've got masons on staff full time. I've got carpenters, laborers. We do general contracting, masonry, carpentry. We're really good at construction management services and managing subs and budgets and scheduling and all that good stuff. So yeah.
I know it's probably not final yet, but what are some ideas that you want to do in Toledo to honor Ray, or have you finalized it yet?
That's a really great question. So one of my amazing friends reached out to me yesterday, and she said, "Ambrea, what do you think about having a Rayshard Brooks foundation?" And I was like, yes, but she said for underserved youth. And I said, that's great, but I want to take it even deeper than that. I want to go into juvenile detention centers, and I want to get the troubled teens who may have not come from good homes and feel like that's the only avenue they have, and just bring them into the fold and teach them trades and construction and get them connected and pay for all the things so that they can better their life, just like Ray was doing. And so that is definitely coming. I don't know. Oh, I'm stopped.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay.
And so, yeah, I love that idea, but I don't want it to be like every other regular foundation when someone passed away. I want it to be a lot special and unique and individualized, focused on those males in particular who may be troubled, young and troubled. I mean, Ray was only 27. So I want to change that narrative. So that's going to be coming. I'm also thinking that through the work we do, and I don't even know how to incorporate this, and this is just me thinking out loud, that I don't know if we have a different division that's maybe the Rayshard Brooks division, and really focuses on underserved neighborhoods specifically, some of that nonprofit building work, or even, I don't know, maybe it is a single mom thing, because he came and rescued the day for that single mom. So I'm just trying to figure out. I certainly want to do. I know that we've been launched on this scale for a reason, and so I just want to continue to honor Ray in the way that he should be honored. That can help so many more people.
Have you thought about opening a school or anything of such, like a community center school?
Yeah, no, I haven't thought about that at all. But I mean, it's not to say that it can't happen.
It couldn't happen.
Like I said, everybody has been pouring out and have been so, and they've been saying, Ambrea, what do you need me to do? Like, I am here, use me. And so maybe, I mean, I do have a lot of influence here locally. And so, I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff that we can probably do to honor Ray's name. People didn't even know he had ties to Toledo. That was the other thing. Once I posted that, people were like, what? How? Like, what do you mean? They didn't even know he was here. And so everything was happening in Atlanta. And then when I posted what I posted about how close we were to him as a team and what he was helping us with here, I had so many people reaching out. Another thing about Ray, he had, and I shared this on CNN really briefly, one of my clients, we did an office renovation. And he was only there for about 3 weeks and he was painting. And she called me on Sunday after maybe seeing my post. And she said, Ambrea, was that our Ray? Now we're talking about, a white lady, maybe late 40s, super nice. And she said, was that our Ray? She said, our Ray. She was literally only with him for 3 weeks as we just did the office reno. And I said, yes, it was our Ray. And we sobbed on the phone together, sobbed. And she's been so broken up, and she calls me and texts me every single day. But to think about that on a larger level, when I keep talking about the impact that he had on our lives, not just us, but even our clients who were like requesting him and wanting him to be on their job because he was such a value add in everything that he did. And even when he just walked in, his smile was so big and bright, and his energy was so great and powerful. It just radiated in every room he went in. And she felt that energy, and that company felt that energy. And I just want people to know that that's the type of dude he was.
Beautiful. All right, we got a beam in. Someone want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? First, I'm glad that you're about to stop with us tonight.
Thank you.
I got a question. You said something that caught my ear, and it was on my mind. You said something about the climate that we live in, Black people, and I saw the video, and at first I hadn't seen the video. I saw the video only when he was being handcuffed and he began to fight, and I was like, man, why did he do that? And it wasn't until later I saw the whole video where they were interrogating him before it even got to that point where there was actually an opportunity, for it to not go that way. But what bothered me was like, man, this climate that we living in, and this brother had to know the climate that we're living in. And like you said, we're not afforded the luxuries, that they are. I've seen videos of white boys kicking police, fighting police, shooting police, and they still somehow are taken alive.
Eric, do you have something on because it's hard to understand you?
No,
You got two things on?
yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
I'm not sure if you can hear you. Yeah.
You hear me now? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, where did I leave off?
I heard you say the climate, and you thought, you know, gosh, this brother.
I'm glad you can hear him. Okay.
Yep, he knows the climate that we live in.
Right. And what bothered me, I was like, why did he do that? You know, knowing the climate that we live in, knowing that we aren't afforded the luxury that white dudes, like I said, I've seen white dudes fight police, shoot at police, and still somehow they're taken alive. And I just wanted to, since you know him personally, and I just want to ask you, why did you think he did that? Did you think that something was going to happen, or was it his intoxication, condition that he was in, intoxicated? Why do you think he did that?
So two things. First off, we saw the Ahmaud Arbery, right? He's just running down the street. He wasn't anybody.
Right.
You can say that he was compliant,
Right.
and he still lost his life.
Right.
We know Breonna Taylor. I don't think you can be more compliant than sleep in your own home,
right,
and still die.
Right.
And you see the Ray video, or actually back up, George Floyd. We know video that he was compliant, and
right,
had the exact same fate. He died.
Right. You can go back to Philander still. Same.
He told him, hey, I have a concealed weapon. He gave him everything he needed, and he still lost his life. And so the argument of comply versus non-comply is moot if you are a Black person in the United States. Right. If you comply, the fate can still be the same. If you're non-compliant, the fate can still be the same. It will still result in death. So it doesn't matter if you do comply or non-comply, you can still die. Now, me knowing Ray, Ray had been to jail before. And I know for a fact, because he told me, he never ever wanted to go back to jail. And based on, what he probably saw, he was so young. He was only 27. So he was so young when he even went to begin with. So I can't even imagine what he saw, what he was exposed to, what happened to him. But I know for a fact, he told me he never ever wanted to go back to jail. That's why he was so positive about his life here in Toledo. If it was a fresh start. So A, I know Ray didn't want to go back to jail. B, it doesn't matter if you comply or not comply, you can still die. And even, if you saw the video, the officer just all of a sudden went rogue. Rogue. They were having a normal conversation and he didn't even tell them why he was being arrested. Did he blow over the legal limit? Did he not? We didn't even know. All of a sudden said, you're under arrest, and just started grabbing him. Right. And so to think about, you don't know if you're going to live or not. You don't want to go back to jail. You don't know what these officers are on. Right. He did have a drink. Let me run so I can try to live to see my kids another day. Right. Even say that if I'm pulled over, to be honest with you, and if I sense that things escalate, that I might run. Because I've got 19 employees and I don't just feed my family, I feed theirs too. I need to live. So between those four things, that's the only thing that I can come up with. It doesn't, if you comply or not, you can still die. Right.
I know the goal is to survive the economy. And when you have as a Black man in America, when you have a son, you have to tell your son, you have to have that conversation with your son, about being pulled over, being profiled, that whole thing. And of course, the goal is to survive the encounter. And like you said, it's you don't know what's going to happen if you comply or not. Are your chances better complying or not? It seems like it's a 50-50 situation.
Yeah, you're right. I've got I've got a 13-year-old son and 11-year-old son. And I started talking to them about race and police officer encounters when the Starbucks video came out. And so that was what, a couple years ago. We've got the two Black men waiting in Starbucks to have a meeting, and they got the police called on them. And
Right.
they're waiting to have a meeting. And so I showed my boys at a very young age that video, and I made them watch the entire thing, because I feel like the earlier and the sooner they know what their reality is, the
Right.
better they'll be. And you're right, I do teach my boys to comply, because I do want them to try to have the best outcome they can. And so I'm like, if you get pulled over by the police, you comply, you grab onto the steering wheel, you answer all their questions, you do everything you need to do. And at any point you feel threatened or they're trying to coerce you into saying something, that immediately you say, I need my lawyer.
Right.
I need my lawyer. And you continue to repeat it. And you don't say anything, because whatever you say, they're going to use it against you. We see it over and over, every Netflix documentary. You
Right.
cannot say anything. If you feel it escalate and you feel that your rights are being violated, you immediately say you need your attorney and you call me. And so to your point, yes, I do teach compliance. I do.
Okay. Good. I'm glad that you're out here putting out that image of the brother that we need, because they're quick to demonize us, and they do that so that they can justify that murder. So I'm glad that you're out here putting out, what kind of person that he really was. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. I'm trying. It's
All
hard.
Appreciate
I'm out there. I'm back in the chat, man.
Appreciate you. How do you composite all this emotions, like George Floyd, Rayshard, Robert Fuller? I'm gonna stop there. But how were you? I don't want to say leading into, because it's now history, but how were you up until Friday morning with the movement?
Friday morning, I was actually encouraged. I was encouraged by test. Is that me or you? Sorry.
That's the one. Hold on 1 second. 915. Go ahead. Finish it. Go ahead. Finish it.
I was encouraged by, like I said, my Caucasian friends reaching out for the first time. I was encouraged by.
You gotta mute your phone.
I was encouraged by the business communities, specifically white establishments, coming out with statements saying Black Lives Matter. They've never been acknowledged before. So I was encouraged by the protests. I was encouraged by the statements. I was encouraged by the local conversations we were having here with the mayor and the police chief. And I was feeling good about moving forward for change and reform. And that morning, I woke up Saturday morning. My husband had already been out of the bed, and he handed me the phone. He didn't talk. He handed me the phone. I was getting dressed to go to the farmer's market. I go every Saturday, get my little stuff. He gave me the phone, and when I read the headline, slain whatever African-American man, Wendy's by police officers, and I read the headline, and I shook my head, and I said to myself, we are at war. Actually, I said out loud, we're at war, right? Like another one. And, to the point that's been made, you think that people would be more cautious in their dealings because everything is so publicized. So when I saw that, I thought, oh my God, they don't care. This is retaliation. This is war. And so I read that. I said, this is war. We're at war. And I got down to the second paragraph, and it said, Rayshard Brooks. And I just couldn't believe it. And I looked at my husband, and he was so broken up. His whole face was red, and he was already just so emotional. Before, and he couldn't even tell me. He couldn't even verbalize it. He literally just handed me his phone. And when I saw Ray's name, believe it. I just didn't believe it.
Mm.
And so up until that point, I was encouraged, and I felt like, okay, you know, I'm one of the ones sitting at the table, and so I can have these conversations and talk about what reform should look like and moving forward should look like and how company culture should change and shift. And I was motivated by that. But then after I saw that it was Ray, somebody that I loved so much and guarded closely, and I knew that my team had loved him so much and had still talked to him just up in 2 weeks. I just couldn't believe it. And again, he was always coming back. You know, my sister had talked to him, and he's like, I'm getting my stuff together, ducks in a row. I'm on my way. And so to now, you know, to know that he's not coming back is devastating. And so now it's taken on a whole another meaning for me. Like at first, I mean, I knew we were at war, but now I feel like it's a whole big movement.
Mm.
I feel like it's a whole, like, time is winding up, Selma to Montgomery type of Civil War, I guess, if you will, I've been calling it. Especially when I reached out to Tamika today and I just asked her where the service was. And she said, Ebenezer Baptist Church. And I was like, that's it. I clearly, God clearly has a role for me in this movement in a way that is different than I thought that it was going to look before. And I'm ready to do the work. I am very prayerful because I know work like this does not come without tremendous sacrifice and a toll being taken on you. And I'm just ready for it all, because at the end of the day, I'm in it to save our sons. And that's exactly how I look at it. I got to do the work. I'm gonna, you know, I'm hoarse from even talking so much and doing so many interviews, and
Okay.
I just can't stop because I cannot let his death be in vain.
Absolutely.
I'll continue to share the great story about who he was, despite the negativity. And I believe that with my whole heart that we only had him for a certain amount of time so he can have that type of impact on us and our clients to affect change in this way. Because how many times have we been saying that we've been treated in this way and nobody believes us or nobody cares? But we have every single angle you can possibly have about what happened, Ray. And there's no one who is rational could even say anything differently. So because of his death, we are going to have the change that we should have had such a long time ago. And I truly believe our paths cross. So I can help Ray live on his legacy, and he's going to save our kids.
All right. Terrence, go ahead. Oh, wait, let me unmute you. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Terrence, go ahead. I guess he's on. How are you able to connect real life with God right now?
So I've never been angry with God before. I've never questioned God before. I've never asked why. And I asked him why every single day since this happened. Every single day. Because I feel like Ray could have worked anywhere. He could have worked at McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Jeep factory. We have no shortage of factories here. Why did you bring him to us, God? Why did you bring him, and for him to impact us the way that he did for such a short period of time? Why? I don't understand it. But then after the counselor spoke today, she said, we don't know his plan for us. I literally went from being, you know, by all accounts, Toledo famous, because I do a lot in Toledo,
Beautiful.
to being on CNN. So Friday, I went from regular chick, community, doing stuff, board member, etc., to Monday being on CNN. But I named my company Arc Restoration and Construction because I knew that it was bigger than me, and I didn't know what I was doing. I only had my faith in it. And I don't have any hidden agenda. That's the other thing. Kevin resigned when he was like 35. I resigned at 37. And, you know, we built a multi-million-dollar conglomerate on our own, like our own hands. We didn't come from money. Like, it's been a struggle, but it's been a lot of sacrifice. And so for me, I'm not out here trying to get any money, or I don't have any hidden agenda. Like, truly me doing work that I'm passionate about in my life. And I really think that that's why all these things have come together in the way that they did. I think the days that I had with Ray and my company were some of our best company days. And I also believe that Ray being with the company were some of the best days of his life, because he was a part of something, and he had purpose. And he was a part of something bigger, and we were building community. And so I finally have some clarity today surrounding that. It wasn't by happenstance. He gave to me, we gave to him, we elevated together. And through Ray's death, we're all going to elevate. His death is going to elevate, I think, the entire African-American community. And that gives me solace, and that makes me have a better understanding of the why behind it. Because if not me, who, you know, I have a background in sales, I have a background with talking to people every single day, trying to get them to see the benefits of the product that I have would help their patients. And that's just translated to me wanting to talk to a banker so they can give me a loan and buy into the vision that I have for this particular factory that I want to, you know, renovate. And translated to me having a construction company to be able to cast vision and lead a team to want to jump on board and come with the Black lady who owns a construction company in Toledo, Ohio. And just all kind of have build. And I can see how I know now why our paths cross, because he's using ARC and the work that we do and the mission for a larger conglomerate. And through Ray's death, we're going to see that.
And I think that's a great way to end this interview. You know, I would love for you to come back in time and put a bow on this. You know, maybe in a couple months, come back, or a couple of weeks, whenever you see it, come back, and, you know, want to talk about your donations and talk about how you're going to make a tribute to Ray, and
I love that.
However feel, and I'm your friend ever on Instagram, so feel free to contact me upon your convenience. And is any last words you want to say to us?
I just want to say, you guys, be encouraged, because things are moving and things are happening in a way that we've never, ever seen. And so even though things seem dark and drab and a little bit hopeless at times, be encouraged, because I know that things are working and things are being shaken up through, you know, all of their deaths. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, you know, Rayshard Brooks. We've never seen an officer get charged for murder ever for taking one of our lives. And so be encouraged today. Yes, we have a long fight ahead of us, but drink your water and stay hydrated and get ready to do the work, and whatever your role is in it, because we all have a role to play, whether it's in the boardroom, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's ministering to your kids or your circle of friends. You know, if you're one of the ones in the front willing to take a rubber bullet, if you're one of the ones that want to scream and shout on a bullhorn, all of it is needed. And so figure out what your lane is and your role is and play the hell out of it, because we need you.
And I just want to say thank you. And you can have this platform anytime you want it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you for having great resilience, great strength, and being so eloquent and beautiful on national TV. I was it was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch you. You know what I mean? Tell the story of Rayshard. And I just wanted you to have a longer interview. So, because I know when we're gray or, you know, pumping up daisies, it's going to be about 100 documentaries on the year 2020. And I wanted your voice to be a part of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the platform and allowing me to be here today. Thank you to your listeners. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Queen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Round of applause, man, for Ambrea. Woo, we got through that. Fred didn't cry, y'all. I had Reggie Owens in here, so I figured I couldn't cry, man. Oh, man. Whew. What a strong woman. What a strong woman, man. That was unbelievable. You know, who was a 27-year-old man, you know what I mean, pre-prime. Wow. And we're at war. You know what I mean? And I'm forever grateful for her stopping by, you know what I mean, sharing her story. And it's very important that we share these stories, you know what I mean? Because if this happens to me, I'm going to tell y'all, they're going to say, I've been to jail. They're going to say, they're not going to say when Fred was 19. They're going to say, oh, man, he was charged with grand theft. They're not going to tell you it was dropped down to petty theft. You know what I mean? They're not going to say that. So I think it's just important that we share these stories. And I'm talking to y'all, too, if it happens to y'all on an individual basis. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to make national news. But I also know in 20 years, somebody's grandson is going to Google their name. And I would love for these great stories to be a part of the information that their grandkids receive. I think it's that important. So, so I'm talking to y'all that can hear my voice. This platform is for y'all as well. You know what I mean? You want to share stories about people you love and lost, and you know it's for that, man. And it was beautiful tonight, man. And I'm honored and humbled simultaneously that she came on and shared his story. You know, what a peaceful man. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, I felt that when he was conversing with the police officer. You know, I have yet to watch the extended version of it, so I probably will at some point since I already saw the murder, and I'll watch at some point. Feel free to call in, DB. I haven't seen DB's name, so I'm unsure, but he's gone. And but I think that we're in a good space. In the totality of it, I believe we're in a good space, and we gonna win. You understand what I'm saying? We gonna win, and hopefully we win all of them. You know, I'm not pessimistic, guys, but you gotta understand. I was 13, 12, or 11 when the Rodney King verdict came down, and I thought that was so obvious. You know, I thought it was blatant. You know, so I thought it was no way those cops are getting off. You know, so I'm not pessimistic, but I make sure I make sure I look through the peephole when everyone knocks at my door. You know what I mean? So, and that's how I feel about these cases. So, so yeah, man. Thank you, Ambrea, for coming in, and yeah, man, we gotta do this together, man, in your community and everybody's community. Beautiful family too, man. Damn. They bet on them. Another great story of people betting on themselves, y'all. Another great story. Kevin and Ambrea bet on themselves, man, and now they are very successful in Toledo, Ohio. You know, Robert Easter country. I was thinking about him during the interview. So yeah, man. I'm not sure if DB's in here because I ain't see him. But my chat stopped, so I can't see the chat. Bet on themselves, man. Oh, DB is in here. Okay, yeah, I would love to get you to come in. Let me open up the phone lines, D. Head and call in, DB. Phone lines are open now. It froze on my end. I had to go through YouTube to get the chat in. I'm froze on Mark Wunderlich's last comment. But feel free to call in. Yep. Phone lines. Let me open up one more. There we go. Hey, what's up, Kyle? Kyle, can you hear me? Yeah, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
You gotta excuse my phone, but I had to call in, blood.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this morning was hella fun, though.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate. Likewise, too. I appreciate you. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. Niggas had a good time, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on your platform. Thank you.
Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, man, you helped start the blood.
Hold up, DB. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, that was.
No, wait, DB. Wait. Let me get Kyle first. I just put you on so we can.
Yeah. Right on.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, man. We gotta do that again, though, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
That made the morning, boy.
Thank you. I appreciate you all the time, anytime.
Man, you already know. So I got a few more people I'm trying to get. So I'm just slowly but surely trying to just get up there and just keep doing it.
Yeah,
dude, I think me and you had 100. The kid that he just started boxing, man. He had a cool little story, man.
Mm-hmm.
We had he damn 200 views. So I'm just man. So I'm just working, man. I'm trying to make something happen, man. I'm trying to edit everything on the laptop right now, so I can put it on YouTube. So by the time tomorrow hit, our video will be on my page. You can go check it out.
Okay, done dealio.
Well, we had some jokes today, dog.
Oh yeah.
the slander that you was giving out today, boy. As long as we're Deontay Water slander, bro, we halfway cool.
Yeah, I got you.
I get very upset when it's Deontay Water slander.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. But shoot, man, Fred, appreciate you, man.
All the time, anytime, for sure.
I'm gonna tap in with you tomorrow, man.
All right, please.
You're going to give a text, man, at all times.
I will. Appreciate you, Kyle. Thanks, dog. And we have DB to wrap it up.
Hey, I thought Kyle was gonna cook a little bit. I started eating. That was the shortest call Kyle ever had.
I know. Oh, wasn't it? He's normally on for 12 minutes for sure.
Yeah. But I started showing on lettuce and shit. Like that's Kyle calling back for part 2.
Nah, that's Ant Fresh. I'll get you tomorrow. I know Ant want to talk, man. Shit. Ants, can you save it? Fuck. Call back, Ant. Call back.
Yeah, no, let Ant jump on.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Call right back, Ant. Oh, man. Go ahead and call back, Ant. I got you, dog. I was trying to get you on, but she was in a space, so I cut the phones off because she was getting emotional, and I didn't want the calls to.
Yeah, I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna let her.
Yeah. What's up, Ant Fresh?
It was.
Ant.
Yeah, what's good with it? Hey, man, I was going to keep it short and sweet, man, and just say the show was amazing. Like, I could not keep my eyes off the show. It was, man, it was impactful. That's all I really wanted to say. And for when you keep having these guests that come on that's impactful like this, like on a different level, when it like reaches like, you know what I'm saying? Like your heartstrings and stuff like that, that's what it's all about, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it brought me to like some Arsenio Hall type of stuff where he would just ask the great questions and like you would just let, you know what I'm saying? Just let your the person that's on just really just pour out. You know what I'm saying? Just pour out and say what they need to say and you know, have a really great message behind it. I feel like what she's doing is super powerful. And then especially her having, you know, the husband that she has and like she still has that passion for us. Like that shows people, like I'm glad you had her on because that showed me and that showed people that everybody not the same just because they with you know, the opposite race or whatever the case may be. They can still be down for the culture and they really are about that life, where there's other people who just can't even walk in her shoes. Does that make any sense, Fred?
Makes great. Well, yeah, it definitely makes great sense to me.
right. Oh, yeah. That's true, man. And but yeah, just, you know what I'm saying? Just thank you for the great content, man. I just feel like people don't, you know what I'm saying? They just don't understand the work that you put in behind the scenes before the guest comes on. That's all I wanted to say. And everybody have a good night. Stay safe, man.
Appreciate
Peace.
you. Thanks, dog. Appreciate you, big homie. Now it's officially the closer. Mariano,
right, huh?
the last 44, the last 42 to ever wear 42 in the barbershop. DB, the closer. What's up?
All day, every day. Hey, man, shout out to her for coming through.
Very much so.
And giving us what big mass media won't ever give us. And that's the ultimate truth. A true witness of character.
Yeah.
And because, you know, just the same way we do with entertainers and with the athletes, we get a chance to see who the human being was and not what the cameras tell us.
Facts.
Everybody's putting on a show in front of the cameras. You know, these officers just didn't know that these cameras was going to work against them. They thought that, you know, WS was going to work in their favor this time.
They did. I saw how casual he was after it.
And it didn't work out so well for him. So I'm conflicted just like her. Death penalty, or the dude could sit in prison and rot for the rest of his life. Either way, I'm cool with it. You know, burn, devil, burn. But there's no there's no way to equate what happened. You know what I mean? Like this is, it's tough. Anyway, man, I don't want to finish on a sour note, but shout out to Tyler Perry, man. You heard about what Tyler Perry was doing for him, right?
Yeah, and he's gonna put his kids through college.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
And
I got some more bad news, man. Damn, this shit is getting worse and worse, dog.
No, don't. Yeah, we can't go to bed on that.
All right. Shit.
Yeah, we gotta.
Damn.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
But we could talk offline about it. But yeah, this, you know, we got 250 people in here right now. Plus, it's gonna be another 250 that's gonna look at this right after we get off. So, you know, we got to let people sleep, man. We can't have this negative energy flow through us, you know, at the end of the day. You know, but the people on the East Coast say some of them just waking up early. You know, the fourth shit.
Facts.
The fourth shit. Anyway, and good stuff, man. And who we got tomorrow?
I think we're just gonna be us tomorrow. I got Corey Spinks tomorrow, but I kind of don't want to entertain a guest tomorrow, not unless it's breaking news or something. You know what I mean? I just want us to hang out for a minute, man. Can we have a therapy session tomorrow, please? I just need to breathe for a second, man. I had guests Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, man. I just want to breathe, man. I'll send Corey and him a message. Like, can we go next week or something? Like, for real. I'm just, whew, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we got all the regulars in the barbershop, man. I think even when we start talking about something that's, you know, something political or something that's kind of serious, we can always change the tone. You know what I'm saying? When it's us, we got a guest. We have to stay in that same lane. But when it's us, we get a chance to maneuver around and go from the slow lane to the speed to the fast lane. Just in the, as fast as somebody can send something there. What was your favorite movie? And then we just switch it up and start having fun and start laughing and kind of take the pain away from moment.
Facts.
Yeah. But play the song, Fred.
Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, big homie. Thanks, DB. Thanks, dog. Hustler Slim, Cash G, Sir, G Brown, Terrence. Your phone dropped, man. DB, Sir. Hey, Bumpy Johnson, Terrence, man. What's up with your phone, man? You got that? You got still using that razor? What up, Aunt Fresh? J8, Bumpy Johnson, JADB said the phones were cut off. J.A. Dixon, Kenyatta Ali, G Brown, Tay Walker. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Damn. To give up. We had a great show, y'all. We had a great show, man. We making history in here, man. We making history together, y'all. Y'all part of it, all right?
Quickly they'll come for your bro. Games can play, can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a liar. I'm telling you the truth. It's only what you do. Some things you gotta do.
The plant-based pugilist all the way from Jersey. What's up, big homie? You got variety. You can still have a razor, though. You can still have a razor, dog. In a minute, Cash G. TB, what's up, man? Thank you for the positive comments tonight, man. Shauna didn't deserve to die. Keep her. Man, facts. Yeah. It's the moment of truth. Go back and down. DMB Boxing, what's up? Peace and hair grease, family. Yeah, peace and hair grease. And so. Oh, man. Yeah, man. What a time. Oh, what a time. What a time. Yeah, man. We gonna sing this shit one more time, y'all. We out this motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Last time, we out of here, y'all. Cause the devil is a lie. I'm telling you the truth. It's only what you do. So things you gotta do. I love y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming in here every night, man. And we'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna talk about maybe we'll talk a little Trump tomorrow. Get Reggie excited again. You know what I mean? We was gonna talk about Trump tonight, but I spoke to her earlier today. People Hernandez gave me my 5 mic and some headphones. Appreciate you, big homie. And we out this motherfucker, man. Yeah, them Obama phone. Love y'all. See y'all niggas tomorrow. No more cancer.